MONBASA, MVITA, from Bungoma, Gongwa. This is to Tanganyika, Zanzibar and Pemba that got united and became the nation of Tanzania. This is a story of what happened during the First World War, before you were Tanzania, when there was Tanganyika, and there was Zanzibar and Pemba that belonged to the Sultan. This is a story that is rarely told by the historians. KARIANGOFO is going to talk to FUMO of the resilience of the then people who were the protecting, colonizing Tanganyika that time. And they are the ones who brought us the name Schule. That is a German name for school. And you people from Tanzania were able to bring us that word, incorporated it into Kiswahili. And now we are in this Schule of history. I'm going to talk about the First World War. During the First World War, you were a colony of Germany, and we were a colony of Britain. The British had introduced indirect ruling, where they would have chiefs and then district officers over them. So we could have our systems within our villages, leadership within our systems, but under the colonial powers. So they were the bosses. You could pass things in your village, but when they came with theirs, it was overriding. For the first time, when Europe was in First World War, the people in the colonies, those the colonial masters, decided to look for African soldiers for the first time who would help them carry their baggages and also help them fight their war. They introduced the Carrier Corps division, which the Kenyans called KARIANGOFO. I'm talking from that position of the First World War. There was war in the air. There was war on land. And there was war in the ocean and in the lakes and in the rivers. I'm going to talk about the battle that took place in the Rufiji Delta. By then, a ship by the name of KONIGSBERGE, or the King's Mountain, a light German freighter, was wreaking havoc on the East African coast. The Tanganyika people and the Germans that time were waging war against the British. And the KONIGSBERGE, a light cruiser, was able to outsmart and sink the British cruiser, HMS. I think this one stands for His Majesty, because by then it was King George before Queen Elizabeth. His Majesty service, the Pegasus or Acroyon, was sunk. There was a build-up for revenge, but the Königsberg took shelter in the Fiji Delta. The defense against that ship was mounted on land because of the damages. They had taken parts of the ship to be repaired. But nobody could reach that ship in that delta because then Germans mounted a very fierce attack that the British ships and freighters would not be able to penetrate. Even the people on land were not able to penetrate. Eventually, it came out of that place. There were attempted attacks to destroy it, but it survived. The German soldiers decided to disassemble the guns that were on that freighter. And they put these guns in different places. I'll mention them. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the resilience that was there in the Tanganyika people, who later united with Zanzibar and Pemba and became the wonderful Tanzanian nation. You have a resilience unmatched. You got a good foundation from His Excellency, former President, may he rest in peace, Mwalimu, teacher, Lera Julius Kabarage Nyerere, wonderful African leader. And from there, your presidents have consistently been building up Tanzania in the Ujamaa fashion. Very stable nation, a very resilient nation, a very united nation. We remember this time when you voted in Magufuli and he brought rapid changes. A disciplinarian, a honest man, a man who would not even spare his friend when corruption or anything that was against the people of Tanzania came. Yes, at the beginning, some people felt he was too much for them. But later, the citizens of Tanzania loved him. They loved him. An orderly man, a disciplinarian, a truthful man, a honest man. Why am I talking about this? God called him before that time, but he had stood as a shining example in Africa. Nobody had come with such a vigor, with such a honesty, with such a clarity of what was to be achieved for the people of Tanzania. But when he left home, he went on. He went up to be the Maker. He did not leave you orphaned. He left you the mother of your nation. I've proudly heard you people talking of Mama, who was an ardent student of the then former president. She took over in the same manner, unrelenting. And I know sometimes it becomes difficult to bear, but the truth is, if there's no order, there's no advancement. I'm not talking about her. It's not campaign time anymore, so we cannot say that a foreigner or anybody is trying to campaign for her. She did her campaign. She proved she has the heart of the Tanzanian people. So when I talk, I'm talking about something proven beyond reasonable doubt. But why am I talking about this? I've remembered a speech by the elder statesman, the African Union. And he was talking about monetary economy. He talked about us having been cheated in the past. People of Tanzania, that was before joining together was Tanganyika. I would like to say Musi Tanganyike by anything from outside or anywhere. He said the truth that we have to process what we have, sell it as finished product. Gave a good example of the iron ore from his country being 70% pure, so that when you have 1.5 ton, it will produce 1 ton of iron. He talked about us growing our economy. Yes, I know some people talk of demigods. And the mother of your nation was seated. I could see as he was making that speech, he was there listening to that. And you are greatly blessed with minerals. You are greatly blessed with many resources that many countries don't have. And you are greatly blessed with a unity that anybody will be jealous of. I know there may have been some propaganda, some things to try and crack your unity. You have stood firm as the Tanzanian people. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about your part in East Africa. The major part you have played in molding the politics, the unity, the economy of East Africa. You are a shining example. And I was trying to imagine if the elder statesman, this leader who is a leader of order, truthfulness, and somebody who wants discipline, just like the one they were with, they are made of the same clay, truth for the people of their nation. And we also have somebody, people are contesting, but we have our sitting president. We call him the wheelbarrow pusher. I know many wonder when I talk about the wheelbarrow pusher. He campaigned with that. That was what he used in his campaign banners, and that is what is on his flag, official, the presidential flag, the wheelbarrow. So I'm going to talk about them and the wheelbarrow pusher with the wisdom of the elderly statesman, because he was able to pronounce certain things that would touch the heart of every African. That when he was still a freedom fighter, they had problems sometimes with Muammar Gaddafi. But when problems started cropping up there, in the African Union, they wanted to send the African president representative to go and settle the issues in Libya. You know the situation that Libya is in. And when four African presidents here were in the air going to Libya to try and broker something for Libya, they were ordered by NATO to return back. Ordered by NATO in Africa. 4 African leaders, 4 African presidents. What does it tell you? It tells you where we are still considered. We are still looked at as boys and girls who are sent on errands. Now, we have not sent you to go and broker understanding between the people in your African country. Unless we say so, you don't fly there. This is something that should keep everybody thinking. The policies that we get from outside, are they beneficial for us? Tanzania, you are blessed with minerals. You are blessed with agricultural. You have a big country. Yes, with that truthfulness and everything that was Magufuli's, and now is in the hands of a student, somebody who was together, worked together, with the advice that I had the elder statesman from Uganda giving to the people in African Union meeting. Joining together with your brother in Kenya. I know you've had a rough time with Kenya. Our activists have come and whatever has happened, but that is not the position of the Kenyans. Kenyans themselves respect you. Kenyans themselves respect your political space. It has been unfortunate. We have not only had a spat with you, we've had a spat with Uganda, but it's not as a country. This is a democratic country and people talk. Sometimes they exceed the limits. Forgive us for that. But I'm talking this about Tanzania. You are a resilient people. You have been a great example. And this is shown by what happened on the resilient ship that was in Tanzania by that time, the KONIGSBERGE. Even after that, the guns of the KONIGSBERGE were used and they stand as, what do you call, trophies that were put in different places, meaning that your influence, Tanzania, goes further than your boundaries. I'm going to talk about the KONIGSBERGE. It had a supply ship called Somali. You can broker many things in Somali. Kenya has also tried. You too. Because the supply ship was called Somali. There are many things in Somali that East Africa is missing. Because mostly when we are on our agendas, who thinks of Somali, the Horn of Africa? But Somali has got so much that it can be able to give. So the supply ship of KONIGSBERGE was Somali. That was the name. Look at the historical books. It's not me creating up that thing. One of the guns from the KONIGSBERGE is on display in what I've been using when we are talking about the religious side of East Africa. who believe in Isa or Jesus as the Messiah. One gun is displayed outside Fort Jesus in Mombasa. I always talk of the Fort Jesus Club. Some people thought it was an imaginary thing. It's a real fort. One of the guns that came from the KONIGSBERGE, meaning that your influence can also be felt in Kenya. One gun is outside the Union Building in Pretoria, South Africa, meaning Tanzania, your influence goes up to South Africa. A third one is at Ginger Barracks in Uganda. And there is talk of another one being in Congo. That is gun. Those are guns that were dismantled from the KONIGSBERGE. A ship that would not be sunk, captured, and those guns were used in different places. And they are on display in different countries, meaning the resilience of the Tanzanian people. Tanzanians, under the leadership, she may be strict, she may be orderly, but without order there's no development. So, if she and the other leaders within the zone, I'm not leaving out Burundi and Rwanda and other countries, with a unity and such a great advice that I had being talked there, us selling our raw materials, getting nothing out of it. Let's learn to process. I heard him talking about cheap transport, railway. Let's put our railways to use and let's share whatever we have as African countries amongst ourselves. Produce everything. With Tanzania, you have Tanzanite. Tanzanite belongs to no other country. Imagine somebody buying such a precious mineral that can be found nowhere, processing it and making a lot of money. Sell them finished products to you. Give more jobs to your people. Give everything. And I know you have a capable president. Keep peace, Lord, Tanzanians. Your influence goes far. As the guns of the KONIGSBERGE right now are a witness. They are displayed in different countries, meaning your influence is beyond your borders. You've kept it. You have been united. You can even be a greater nation with the unity you have. Tanzania, we wish you well. Tanzania, you are a great nation. You will make it. You are a united nation. Unite, 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 unite. And your influence will be felt all over Africa. Just like I had the elder statesman making that speech from one of those videos I've been watching. And yes, it touches each one of us. Let's grow our economy, have finished products, have everything worked on. If it's cotton, you start from cotton, do everything, end up with clothes and things like that. We shall create more employment for the people. The economy will be stronger. Let's share what we have. There's no need of buying fuels from far, resources from far, when the neighboring state has. There was a time when I was talking of buying in their own money. Exchange, buy in Tanzanian money. And when you deal with other countries, buy in their currency. And you will stabilize. East Africa will stabilize. Tanzanians, I thank you for having stood up, though it was chaotic during elections, but you stood up as a people. You are standing as a people. Fight within your democratic space. but don't allow external influence. You have been a shining example. You still are. And you will have greater influence in Africa. You are a giant in Africa. The people wish you well. I wish you well and not talk on behalf, because the times when I talk things like this and people say, who has given him the mandate to talk on our behalf? I'm talking from my behalf. I'm talking from what I see. I'm talking from what sometimes I'm given to talk about. So Tanzania, we wish you well. Forget any mishaps that you've had. They have not been directly from the Kenyan government. We are brothers and sisters. Yes. As you grow, let your influence touch us and let our influence touch you too. Let us grow as the African states. Let's not be in a situation like the Ugandan president was saying, that we cannot even order our own things. You send your presidents, our presidents, to go and broker peace. And some outside forces from different continents give orders, fly back to where you're coming from. And things go outright. Africa, it's you. Tanzanians, it's you. We stand together. Be the shining example that you have been. Wish you well. That's my take for now.